Tuesday night Krueg show. Raj is in the house. We're on the eve of the first training camp practice. Lynch and Shanahan spoke today. We're going to break it all down. Lots of Niner news to get to. Let's go. Off and rolling Tuesday night on the Krueg Show, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out, so get there early. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Get some brisket chili. Tell them Krueg sent you. We're big fans of Pig and a Pickle. We're also big fans of all of our sponsors, and our other sponsor tonight on tonight's show is Claw Daddy Arcades. We've been talking a lot about Claw Daddy Arcades. They're a great follow on the gram at Claw_Daddy_Arcades to find a location near you, and they got locations opening at Capitola Mall and Visalia Mall later on this year. So thanks to all of our sponsors. It's 8:21 on the West Coast, 11:21 back east as we get it rolling. It's a night show, almost a morning show back east. But if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching us live, do us a favor. Smash the like and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell and have it turned on so you never miss a show. And remember, once the live stream wraps, you can catch the full replay of the Krueg Show anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever your favorite platform is. Just search The Krueg Show and you're going to find us. But we do have a ton to get to today, so let's just get right into it. Raj, good to see you. You got the trim, you got the hair, you got the training camp trim. You're looking tight. You're looking coiffed. You got your Niner gear. You're repping. You look like you're in prime training camp condition.
I'm in training camp mode. Officially, we're back. Finally got to post like meaningful news today. It was good. I feel good. I'm not feeling sick like I was in off season. But I want to make sure. Are you good, Larry? Well, you good? Technical difficulties to start. We good, Larry? We ready for training camp?
We are good. We're good. We've had some glitches on the streams the last couple of days, and Kev thinks it's a StreamYard issue. So we kind of went through a different process to get on tonight. Hopefully it will correct the issues we've had. But yeah, we have not had those issues on the radio, but we have had them through StreamYard. So we're thinking that we've got some bugs. We still got some bugs we got to iron out. But as it worked, the Niners. They've got bugs to iron out. We've got bugs to iron out. Yeah. And let's just get right into it, Raj, because we got a lot to get to. Today, Lynch and Shanahan spoke. We're about 50 days away roughly from week one. Niners and Seahawks go in week one. Training camp practice number 1 starts tomorrow at 10:15, 10:30, something like that. I will be there for it. Watching. I'm eager to see it. But today was a lot of updates on Ricky Pearsall, Jauan Jennings, Ben Bartch, Brandon Aiyuk, Yatir Gross-Matos, Malik Mustafa, Andre Dillard, Demarcus Robinson. We got a lot of updates. CMC, Trent Williams. It was like the first day of school, and Shanahan's telling us about everybody's summer break. Big line. It was pretty interesting to listen to. I would say, just to sum it up, Pearsall's going to miss the first 3 practices. He hurt his hamstring in the OTAs. It still hurt, obviously. They're just being extra cautious, it sounds like, with many of their players, including Ricky Pearsall. Ben Bartch has a quad injury, so he's on the NFI list because he was hurt away from the facility. They don't think it's long-term with him either. Aiyuk is progressing nicely, but there still is no timetable for his return, and it sounds like it's a mid-season type thing. Unfortunately, Malik Mustafa is also ahead of schedule, but it also is an ACL, and obviously Aiyuk's is an ACL, PCL, or MCL meniscus. Yeah. But Mustafa, it's the same ACL that he tore previously. So he is ahead of schedule, but it also sounds like it could be right around the middle of the year for Mustafa, maybe a little bit sooner. Yatir Gross-Matos, according to Shanahan, will be back soon. Andre Dillard, the same. CMC is he's ready to roll. Trent Williams is ready to roll. They're going to clearly balance, those guys versus, rest versus rust. They're going to make sure that they shake off the rust, but they're going to be very careful, it sounds like, with CMC and Trent. That's at least what I got out of that. And then Demarcus Robinson, they do expect an NFL suspension is probably looming. And they knew that when they signed him. And they, made no bones about that today. I would say the biggest news of the day surrounded Jauan Jennings, who basically has not, according to Shanahan, formally asked for a trade. Lynch said that he expects him to practice, and that's going to be the soundbite tomorrow if Jauan shows up and, for whatever reason, doesn't practice. So give me your primary takeaway from day one, Raj. I guess for me it would be that Jauan did not actually formally ask to be traded. So whoever had that report, that was erroneous, I guess. And that was the probably the big takeaway is that Jennings didn't formally ask for a trade, and everything else kind of is what I expected. What was your takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, everything else is as expected. It is nice to know that Ricky Pearsall should be back sooner rather than later, because I think a lot of people were kind of worried, a little up in arms. So it was good for Kyle to tell us, they're just being careful, and he should miss maybe 3 practices. So we'll see. That's good. The Jennings news was great that he's reporting. I mean, but that's expected, right? He was expected to come in, maybe do a hold in, come in. He may not actually do too much. We'll see. We'll see what he does tomorrow, right? He might just go through the motions. Like, yeah, he's there. He came for his physical, did his thing. And yeah, he didn't formally request a trade. Now, if you remember what the report was from Schefter was he wants an extension. If he doesn't get it, he's going to request a trade. So he hasn't specifically requested. Now, tomorrow could be a different day. But to me, that was probably the biggest takeaway. It's like, okay, Jennings is coming. Lynch said,
so you're thinking if he doesn't get the number he wants, a trade request could be in the near future.
I still think that's his leverage game. Like, yeah, okay, because now he reported he's talking with Lynch. Lynch, right, like he said, I'm not getting into specifics. I don't want to do all that out of respect. And he says we love JJ. Of course, he's going to say all the PC things that he has to say, but at the same time, he's going to say, hey, we're going to do this now. Let's say they go to the negotiating floor and it's not what he wants. Then I think that's when Jennings would throw his, the trade card out there. So we'll see. Tomorrow, we'll see how it goes when he reports and they all come out there. I'm excited for that. Now, the news that kind of is upsetting to me, and maybe not upsetting, but, the injury concern that I have is Ben Bartch. We talk about him a lot, Larry. This man is always hurt. He hurt his quad outside of the facility, so you put him on the NFI list. Now, Shanahan says he should be coming back soon, but that's not a good injury for a lineman to hurt your quad. It's going to be one of those. Can it be a lingering things? Maybe. I don't know. The thing with Ben Bartch is they're expecting him to be a starter, and he's never been healthy. I don't know if we can really put all the chips on the table with Ben Bartch. I don't know. I'm still worried about that left guard spot, but hey, that's what OTAs and training camp and all this time is for, to see if they can get, up to speed and everything. So hopefully he comes back and it's water under the bridge and it's not a major thing. Now, the other guy is Yatir Gross-Matos. That's another guy. He's never available. Like, yeah, he's supposed to be part of this, revamped D-line, but he needs to stay healthy, man. I don't think his job's guaranteed if he can't stay healthy. So those two are a little glaring. Everything else is as it seems. Brandon Aiyuk, ACL, MCL, that's a 12-month recovery. So I'm thinking mid-season. Mustafa's a little different because there's like a re-injured situation, but it was at the end of the season, so it's kind of up in the air. Seems like he's doing good, but we'll see. But the other news of the day, the 49ers needed a receiver, right? Regardless if Pearsall comes back or not. They signed the lesser talented St. Brown brother, Equanimeous St. Brown. He's a camp body.
Equanimeous,
but they needed some depth.
Equanimeous St. Brown is his name. He's the older brother. He went to Notre Dame, I believe, of Amon-Ra and Osiris. He's actually pretty talented. I mean, you're talking about 6'5". Well, I mean, he was a good receiver at Notre Dame. He's 6'5". He runs sub 4.5. I mean, he's a big receiver and he can block. I mean, this guy's smart. He's athletic, and he can block. And he's sub 4.5. I mean, he's not a bum. I'll just say that. I mean, I've seen. I mean, the Niners brought in Nicholas Petit-Frere. I mean, that guy was horrible. So he's not a Nicholas Petit-Frere. This guy's got some ability. We'll see.
Yeah, the alleged Steve-O says, I'm not even a camp body. Show some respect. You're right. I'm not even a camp body. So I put some respect on St. Brown's name. But, I mean, again, I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to be the savior to all our answers. But, yeah, they brought him in. Nice to know that they got some depth. They're going to need depth because injuries happen, especially during training camp. Now, another situation that kind of was brought up during today was I think Kevin might have posted this on his Twitter. I think I might have saw it, but there's a clip, and if you're listening to it, there's so many clips that sound bites that they had. But Kyle, I think it was Kyle, he mentioned that there's probably gonna be like 6 starters on the defensive side of things from the rookies. Like that to me,
let's hear that.
Big kind of soundbite that he said. He's like saying 6 rookies probably gonna start this season, and there's gonna be up to 8 that might have some type of role on this team.
So, I'm glad you brought this up, Raj, because I thought this was probably the juiciest thing that came out of today in a lot of ways. This was in the midst of a Shanahan answer. So we'll share the screen here and you can.
He's looking good.
Shanahan's looking tanned up. He's looking tanned up. Here we go.
Up on that, especially with the rookies on the defensive side of the ball that you'll be relying a lot on. Realistic expectations for the defense starting out the year. Obviously, you want them to produce and play well. You've seen Robert Saleh have an effect on them already in the offseason. But when you guys kind of huddle, what do you think are the realistic expectations for the defense early on in the season?
Yeah, well, one, I think we got a lot of good vets who have established themselves in their league. I mean, I can go over numbers, but there's not many people in this league better than Fred and better than Nick. Love what Demo's done here these last few years and the vet he's become. But yeah, there's a chance we could have 6 rookies or 6 new guys starting. There's a chance we could have 8. We'll see how it plays out. And anytime you say that, that's different. That is a different team. That is a different side of the ball. And so that does take some time. That's why I'm so excited to get started with camp so we can start working that we got a really good head start in OTAs. When you have a young defense like that, you think of 6 out of our first 9 games are on the road. I know that'll be a huge challenge for them. But I think we have the capability with some of the veterans that we've had here, some of the new guys that we've added, some of these vets we've brought in to create some competition with these new guys, that as long as we keep getting better throughout the year, I think we have a chance to turn it into a real good defense.
It's an interesting conversation because, what did he say? 6 of the first 9 on the road. It is a young defense. When you're talking about potentially 8 new starters. I mean, think about it. Bosa is going to be a starter up front, but you could have 3/4 of that line could be all new. Even if D. Winters winds up starting over Nick Martin, he didn't start last year, right? Because it was Campbell. So he's actually technically a new starter. So that if you have 3, if it's C.J. West, Mikael Williams, Alfred Collins, and either Nick Martin or D. Winters, you've got 4 new starters in your front 7. And then you may have Pinnock and Richie Grant potentially starting at safety. That could be 6. And you got Upton Stout maybe starting at the slot corner and Renardo starting opposite Demo. Yeah, I mean, they may have 8 or 7 or 8 or 9 potentially new starters from last year, and they play a bunch of road games to start the year. So what do you think, Raj? I mean, I'll say this. The 81 Niners, Carlton Williamson, Eric Wright, Ronnie Lott, those guys were all rookies. They all started in that secondary. It was a very young secondary, and they went to the Super Bowl. So to me, it's about the talent. That team had George Seifert coaching up and Ray Rhodes coaching him up in the secondary. That team was so well coached, and those guys were great talents. Ronnie was a Hall of Famer. Eric Wright's a superstar. Carlton Williamson was a very, very good hard-hitting safety. So, to me, it's a lot about the talent. and we're going to find out how good are some of these guys. I like Nick Martin. I like CJ West. The other guys, I'm not sure. So, we'll see. What's your thought on the Niner defense? How concerned are you?
I'm pretty concerned because it is a young team. Now I get it. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's the easy schedule," but that first part is not as easy as you think. And again, it's road games, and it's a young team, and they got to get up to speed. Now it is nice that they have, Mr. Big Bob Salah. So it's nice to have him around because if it was Nick Sorensen, I don't think it would have been as good of a situation. So got a good DC. I feel like there's good energy. Like you could just tell everybody looks like they're refocused. Kyle looked great, man. I mean, he looks like he's been hitting the gym, hitting the tan. He looks good. So I feel like all that energy on this team is carrying over. These guys are going to be hungry, but they got to stay healthy. And like he said, these veterans got to be able to come in and do their thing. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, those guys have to be able to, put up their numbers, put up their stats. Diamond Lenore, those guys have to do their thing. And these rookies have to learn quick. So yeah, I know, like you said, Ronnie Lott and all those guys, they were fantastic. They were legends. Now, these guys, we're expecting them to be good. So they're going to have to learn very, very quick and come up to speed. But, with rookies come growing pains and ups and downs, and you never know, and mistakes. So hopefully they can iron everything out by the time the season starts. But I do expect there to be some mistakes here and there. But, they have potential, Larry. But I'm not going to lie to you. I am a little concerned that this team is very young.
By the way, you mentioned Shanahan. First of all, he's tanned up, right? You're looking at him there. He's a tanned up guy. I think he looks like he's a former receiver. Raj, I think he looks like he's like maybe could beat the Jam. I think this guy can get off the line of scrimmage. I think I gotta mention that to him next time I see him. That dude, bro's looking kind of yoked. I mean, I decided I was gonna get in the gym and I threw around a couple plates today in the gym, and I'm ready. I'm in full camp mode. I'm ready. I'm as jacked as I get for me, right? But I think Shanahan might have been watching my streams and got motivated, and I think he decided to get jacked. He looks. I mean, we're seeing real development here, Raj. I mean, look at this. Look at this right here. This is real. Upper body development. I'm seeing a horseshoe right there. I mean, Raj, you're the physical therapist. You could probably speak to this better than I'm seeing some tricep development. I'm seeing some biceps.
I can tell. He's got some traps, man. He's
got some traps.
He's probably cut, man. Like if he actually tried to flex, you could probably see the little vein on the bicep. He's cut, man.
He looks like he could beat the Jam. I think I might have to say that to him next time I see him. It's like, hey, you know what? You look like you can get off the line of scrimmage, man. I mean, you look like you've been throwing the weights around and that you mean some serious biz. Yeah, just to make him. Don't you think that would make him laugh?
Yeah, you probably make him laugh. You'll probably get a chuckle out of it. A lot of people in the comments are saying he pays attention to social media because you remember people were posting his pictures. He looked stressed. He looked bad. He looked weathered.
Right.
I think he paid attention to him. Maybe his son Carter's like, "Yo, Dad, you why don't you come to the gym with me?" Because he looks like a different person this year. I'm telling you.
I think he's watching the Krueg show, man. I think he's hearing me talking about putting up 2 plates, and he's like, you know what, Krueger. If I show up and I'm not as strong as Krueger, I'm done. I got to be strong. I got to look better and be stronger than Krueger.
He's coming for your beat. He's coming for these content creators, these beat writers that ask him questions. He's gonna. If you ask him a bad question this year, Larry, he's gonna be like, "What'd you say, Grant? What'd you say, Larry?"
he's gonna get all swole on us, and he's gonna coil back like a cobra. It's like this. Grant Cohn. Lombardi. Krueger asked a question I don't like. Do you like my cobra arm?
I like it. You like
that? Oh, there you go. All right. Good stuff from Kev there. Kev's got another one here, though. Let's hit this as well. I'll share the screen. They're talking a little bit about JJ. So let's catch this from Kev Krueger. This is not the right one. It's this one up here. Here it is. A little bit about Jauan Jennings with Lynch and Shanahan. We got a couple on JJ. Here it is.
See this coming down the pipeline with Jauan, given the injuries in the offseason and the moves in the offseason that he would possibly want to kind of ask for a new contract?
Yeah, I think you anticipate all situations that make sense when a player's in a situation. I see the same thing with Colton McKivitz. I mean, those are two guys to me in very similar situations that I think the way they feel about us is the same way we feel about them. That's the easy part. The hard part's the business side. When people talk about how to avoid drama and stuff and things like that, and I'm trying not to say negative about it, I think that's just business. I don't call that drama. I call that business. I mean, if you want to avoid all drama, then just be really extremely bad at business. And just be ridiculous on everything. And I guess there'd be no drama until you tear your team apart doing that. So like you look into all that stuff, but like we got a great relationship with these guys. There's two guys that does make sense. We do everything we can to make that work out, but it's not always easy to make it work out. So we'll see how that goes.
I thought that was maybe the most interesting aspect of this whole presser is this, where he's like, hey, look, yeah, you could have a drama-free football team, but it's not good business. Yeah, you could be drama-free and just pay everybody, and just every single guy who's coming to the end of his deal, you just bust him off a new deal, and cap be damned, and let's make everybody happy. Why? Because you know what? He's going to be there in the room, and you know what? He's not going to be happy. But you know what? I'm telling you, if you ask me what's the biggest aberration I've ever seen in pro sports, covering pro sports, where a team outperformed their talent, okay? There's no doubt it's Major League Baseball, and there's no doubt it's the San Francisco Giants in 2021 when they won 107 games. 107 games. They totally overachieved that year.
Yeah.
And if you said why, was there any one reason? Well, I'll tell you one thing about that team that I've always found very interesting. 18 of their opening day 25-man roster were free agents at the end of the year. So basically the entire team was playing for a contract. So you had a very motivated Giants team. And I kind of find that really interesting that you have that much motivation. Sometimes when you pay everybody, they lose motivation.
Yeah.
It's okay to have some guys who are hell-bent to have a big year to take care of their family. It's not the worst thing. I know it plays publicly like you got to take care of JJ. You got to take care of Colton. You got to take care of these guys. They're free agents at the end of the year. It's like, yeah, this is football. This is the way it works. So I thought that line from Shanahan, it's like, we could have a great, comfortable locker room, but that's not good business.
Yeah.
And I think that's, what a balance. That's it right there, Raj. It's a super balancing act between making smart decisions and, having players that you really love and want to keep and, maintaining the fans' interest and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah. I will say that, okay, yeah, I get that. It's business. It 100%. Like Jauan Jennings, he's doing what's best for his business. He's trying to, take advantage of the situation. He's got the leverage. Like, you look at that roster, wide receivers are hurt, this and that. They had to sign Equanimeous St. Brown today, right? So he's got a leverage situation. So it's business. But the one thing I don't agree with Shanahan, he says it's not drama. Yeah, at some point, as much as it gets to, when it starts getting out in the media, it becomes a little bit dramatic because it's like it's always being talked about. Content creators are going to talk about it. We talk about it. You talk about it. Everybody talks about it. So
I don't think he cares. I don't think they mind the drama. I think they understand that.
But I think he needs to understand. It does get a little dramatic. And as a fan base, we sit here and we're like, oh my God. But he's right. It is a business. Now, one thing that was said in that little clip that you put was not just Jauan Jennings, Colton McKivitz. Is Colton McKivitz a guy that's trying to get a contract? I know he's in the last year of his deal. Like, is he trying to get a bag? Is he going to play great to get a contract? You're right. Money motivates these guys. When you are trying to get the bag, you play your best season. You usually have your, top year. And then you get the money and you fall off, right? And that's what everybody says. Once they get paid, they don't play good. But that was a little interesting. That little tidbit he said about Colton McKivitz. What do you think? The Niners going to bring him back? Is he going to play great? I don't know. What's your take on Colton?
Well, first of all, on the motivation, the most motivated I've ever been in my life, on a day-to-day basis, was probably either when I was in pro sports and I was grinding for a simple conclusion, right? We had to win our next game and we had to have a good record. We had to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? When I had very simple game plan, that was a major one, right? When you have a very basic game plan. And I just think that, it's I don't know. It's one of those things where I just feel like they have a real simple game plan is just get better every day. And that's what Shanahan was talking about. Just get better every day. If everybody gets a little bit better every day, you're a better football team. But it's just a very tough thing because you want to sign everybody, but it's not necessarily good business to sign everybody.
Yeah.
And so some guys are going to have to just be unhappy. And I don't know. Tomorrow's going to be very interesting because Lynch said, hey, we don't want to talk about the contract. We love JJ, but didn't say that he's going to redo the contract. They just said we love JJ. Yeah. And here's the thing too. What if the Niners came to JJ and said, because like Eric Branch is predicting, we'll get into some of Eric Branch's predictions.
Yeah, he had some good ones.
He's predicting that the 49ers are going to give they're going to rip up Jauan Jennings' contract and they're going to give him a new contract. They're going to rip up his $7 million contract or $7.5 million, and they're going to give him, according to Branch, a 3-year deal for $47.5 million with $30 million guaranteed.
That's crazy.
Now, that's 15, 16 a year.
That's a lot of money
for a guy who never had even a 500-yard season before last year, a guy whose 2 previous years before last year had 2 total touchdowns, a guy who's the Niners' number 1 receiver in a year where they won 6 games and lost 11 and were 32nd in the NFL in wide receiver separation.
You can't blame him for the 6 wins. You can't give him, but you're right.
I can absolutely blame a 4-7 receiver for being one of the main reasons that the 49ers
he was the bright spot. He was the silver lining, Larry. He was the silver lining of this team. I mean, Brandon,
he doesn't separate. He doesn't separate. I'm not saying that. Okay, here's the other thing too. Just because he's your number 1 receiver doesn't mean you have to pay him like a number 1 receiver.
I agree. Trust me. I agree with that. And he wouldn't be number 1 on another team. But what I'm saying is, I'm not hanging the 6-win season on Jauan Jennings.
No, but I'm just saying before you sit there. Yeah, I hear you. I'm not blaming the season on him. Yeah. I'm just saying, are you going to stumble over yourself in a year where you're supposed to be ruthless on the cap and a receiver who, what is Jauan Jennings? As far as what is he? He's not the best receiver in football. He's not the second best receiver in football. Where does he rank? Where would you say, if I said to you, where does he rank? Where would you rank him?
He's probably, you take away that 3 touchdown game, he's maybe top 40, like before that game. But he had to become a number 1 for his team. And again, I get it why he wants to get paid, but I wouldn't pay him more. We talked about this last week, $10 to $12 million. Take it or leave it. $15 million for someone that's never really had to do that and be that guy. In 3 years, I think it's a little much. I love the guy. Absolutely love him, but I draw the line at 10 to 12 million.
It'll be interesting to see what the Niners' plan is. And it's going to be really interesting to see if he shows up tomorrow. Because Lynch is like, yeah, we expect him to practice.
Well, can you imagine if he doesn't?
What if he doesn't? Then what?
Then we're going to be so dramatic.
Then
we got drama, Larry. Then we got that drama. Business.
We'll see. It's like, there was a report. So you already kind of clarified the trade thing. It's like, I want my money or I want to be traded. So he hasn't formally asked to be traded, but are the Niners going to give him his money? And then what is his money? Is his money, I want 2 years and $20 million. Just give me a little bit more. And I just want a little bit more guaranteed. Or is it like, I want 2 years and $30 million? Is it, I want 2 years and $38 million. The talk is he wants 15 to 17 a year. If that's the case, then I would just say have a great year and, good luck to you in the off season, and we'll make our best offer then. That's all I would say. I definitely would not. You can't say you're going to be ruthless and then give in to everybody.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I told you last week, Larry.
Yeah, I mean, you got to eventually you're going to have to draw the line. You're going to have to draw the line. All right, let's go through some predictions from Eric Branch, and then maybe if you give me your quick perspective on it, and then also maybe make your own. Okay, so Branch is predicting the exact same record I am, 11-6. He has losses week 1 at Seattle, at Rams, Falcons at home, at Houston, at Arizona, and he has him losing to Carolina. I cannot believe that one. So he's got him 6 losses. I think 6 losses is reasonable. I'm not sure which games I have. I definitely don't align with that. I think the Niners will win week 1 in Seattle. I definitely think they'll beat Carolina. But I definitely think that Atlanta game looks tough with Michael Penix. What do you think? What kind of record do you see for the Niners this year?
Pretty close to you guys. I got them losing 6 or 7 games. Not going to lie to you. I think those are pretty reasonable games. I know you're not high on Carolina. Last week we talked about it. I said that's my sleeper team in the NFC. You might be surprised. I don't know if they lose that game, but I think it's going to be closer than many people think. Tampa Bay is a game that you never know. Baker, man, they got a whole new that wide receiver trio is nasty. Got a pretty good team. Atlanta definitely going to be one of those teams that probably come out and playing on all cylinders. And, the Niners always find a way to lose 1 or 2 games that you're just like, how in the world? Even when they're winning 13, 14 games, they always find a way to lose 1 or 2 games. There's going to be a game that we're like, how we lose that game? So you got to attribute that into it. Now, also, again, I talked about the young defense, Larry. This young team, they're going to hit some rough patches. They're going to hit some, points in the season where it's like, oh, man, rookie wall, adversity, this, that, the other. How are they going to respond to it? They got to stay healthy. And then the other part is this O-line. I'm really worried about this O-line because you paid Brock all that money, right? And he's our franchise guy. Are they going to be able to protect him? Because if you really look at this O-line, it's very similar to last year. Trent Williams is a year older. You don't really have a left guard situation figured out if Ben Bartch is, not healthy. So a little concerned about that. I think they'll win 10 or 11 games realistically. And I know everybody's saying, oh, it's such an easy schedule. I just don't buy that, man. Like, I get it. It looks good on paper, but there's no such thing as an easy victory on Sundays or whatever day you play. And people are going to use that. They're going to be, oh, you think we're an easy game? And teams come to play, man. People are going to bring their best against the Niners. So we'll see. I think you're pretty much, 10-11. That's where I kind of see this team winning.
The division's very volatile. So, like, Seattle could be really good. Seattle could be really bad. The Rams could be really good. The Rams could be really bad. Arizona could be really good. Arizona could be really bad. So it's a very volatile division. And I think that also complicates things because, those 3 other teams in the division, they could be among the best teams in the conference if things break right for each one of them. I don't think it's going to happen that way, but it could happen that way. Those are not teams that are bereft of talent. The Seattle, Arizona, and the Rams all have talent, especially the Rams' first string talent. Okay, Branch's prediction is that Jauan gets a 3-year deal for $47.5 million, $30 million guaranteed. I think there's no way that happens. No way that happens. He's also predicting that the Niners will sign a receiver before week 1, and he says it's likely to be Gabe Davis over Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen. What do you think of that one?
I could see that because they did look into him this offseason. He worked out. He's getting healthy. I think they held off right now because he was recovering from a knee injury, of course. They get an MCL surgery or some meniscus, something like that. And I've seen him on his social media posting his rehab and everything. So I think that's a guy that they're going to keep tabs on. If they don't go over Keenan, if they don't get Amari Cooper, who they've been linked to, I definitely could see it being Gabe Davis. But I 100% think that they will get a receiver going into week 1 because, right, you got all these camp bodies, and you're going to figure out who's going to be, making the team. Now, Demarcus Robinson might miss a few games, right, with the suspension. We know Brandon Aiyuk's probably not going to be ready for week 1. So there you go. That's 2 guys down, and you're not going to just rely on, Nair and, Cowing and all these unproven guys, Jordan Watkins, which they have talent, they have potential, but you need a veteran. So I think it's going to come down to Amari Cooper or Gabe Davis. I could see why he thinks Gabe's the guy because they looked into him, but I'm going to say they get Amari Cooper, Larry. I'm going to say that, they've looked into him. They tried to trade for him a few times. I think Amari Cooper's the guy that they get.
It's funny. I'll say I'll cut it in the middle. I think Amari Cooper is the best free agent out there. If you look at the totality of his career, he didn't look very good last year though, and I'd really question that because I questioned signing him because of how he didn't look very good. But I'll tell you I think most receivers are best in like year 3, 4, 5 in that range, and that's where Gabe Davis is. And I'd be looking for a receiver to fit that mold. If Romeo Doubs is available in Green Bay, I'd try to go trade for him. If I could get somebody that's in that 3, 4, 5 range, still young, but also not a rookie, because rookie receivers struggle because of the complexity of the NFL game compared to the college game, and older receivers have a hard time separating. And I think the Niners, if they could find the right 25 to 28-year-old receiver that gets cut free, and there's might be a number of them, and they may be available via trade. So that'll be my prediction. I think it's going to be a better player overall than those guys, but maybe not as big a name. So we'll see. I do think the Niners will add another receiver before week 1. Yeah. Branch also predicts Aiyuk will debut in week 5, and then we'll have a 60 reception, 5 touchdown season in 12 games. I don't see that. I see him Aiyuk debuting in week 10 and having about half that production.
Yeah, I say about week 7, 8. That's kind of where I've been thinking maybe week 8 is more realistic. He was injured last year, week 7, so I kind of feel like by week 8 he should be ready to roll. Week 10 seems pretty realistic too, Larry. So with week 8 coming back, you give him a little ring rust, maybe 2 weeks, but I don't think he's going to get 60 receptions, maybe 25, 30. He's going to shake some rust off, but he will get a lot of targets if he's up to speed. But, it's a tough injury. He had John Lynch talked about it today. They said, there's no concrete timetable. He says it was a very serious knee injury, and I don't think people realize that. He said there was a lot of damage done to his knee. I think those are the words that Lynch said. He said there was a lot of damage done in that knee, and it was a lot that he had gone through in that knee. So that's a lot to come back for. The rehab is very stressful, strenuous, mentally rough, and also, can you get that speed back? Can you to be 100% as an athlete, to do what they need to do, run, cut, jump, and do all that stuff, you have to be so good. And I know he was a great receiver before the injury. The route running, the speed, the jump, the vertical ability, everything was great. Brandon Aiyuk was great, at one point, but it's going to be hard for him to replicate what he was doing. And they're going to be thrown into the fire. If they're in a playoff mix or in a race and they're trying to win games, they're going to need to throw him the ball. And will he be able to go up against top, cornerbacks and stuff? So I think there's going to be a little period where Brandon Aiyuk is going to have to kind of be, kind of worn back in. And if you remember last year, he didn't have training camp. He was a little rusty coming in, and it took him a few weeks to kind of hit that stride. Once he hit that stride, he got hurt, unfortunately. So I kind of see the same thing. He's not going to training camp this year, so it's going to take some time to get that rust off. So maybe 25, 30 catches.
I mean, come on. The guy had 75 catches in 2023 when he was at the top of his game, and he played 16 games.
Yeah, exactly.
So now he's going to have only 15 less catches in a year coming off of ACL, PCL, meniscus.
That's crazy.
I mean, that is ridiculous.
Right.
That's very optimistic.
That's very generous of Eric.
It's very generous.
Yeah.
He predicts Jake Moody's going to beat out Greg Joseph. I would probably agree with that. He also predicts that the Niners will trade for a corner before the NFL trade deadline, which only adds to they should sign Asante Samuel Jr. right now, so they don't have to make that trade, because I don't want to see him trade. Does anybody want to see him trade draft capital in the middle of the year for a corner when there's decent corners available right now? I would say
don't, Larry, but
go sign one now. That's the position. That is when I looked at the Bleacher Report breakdown of the entire league, every team, if they could add one piece, what would they add? They have like 9 teams who wanted to add a veteran corner. So there is a absolute crying, screaming need for guys who can play man to man. And if I could find a guy out there like if Asante Samuel was healthy, I'd sign him.
He's not. That's the thing. I don't want Asante Samuel. He's coming off of neck injuries. I don't like that, man. I don't want to bring a guy in.
Guys who can cover are so rare, though. I mean, that's why the Niners were interested in Damon Arnett. Why? Because the guys who can do the job, it's just so rare to find guys who can do the job that you got to take a look at all of them, including guys that have had some problems or injuries or whatever.
Not good, man. That's a major red flag, Larry.
I mean, obviously he's got to check out. He's got to pass a physical. I mean, you can't add anybody who doesn't pass a physical. So passing a physical is the given, right? And he's not signed yet. Maybe that's why he's not signed. Maybe he can't pass a physical.
Why he's not signed yet? Yeah.
But if he winds up somewhere else in 3 weeks and he does pass a physical, then that is a blown opportunity.
Well, I wouldn't say so, because I don't think he's going to be able to be the guy that you're expecting. If he was healthy, like you said, yeah, he shouldn't be available, but he's available for a reason, Larry. That's a nasty situation to deal with. Neck injuries are never good.
Well, exactly. You never know. I mean, there's degrees of all this stuff. He's missed a lot of time. I mean, heck, JOK for the Browns is going to miss the entire year, and his career's in doubt, all because of one hit, and his neck is not healing right. And so, yeah, it's a very serious thing. Bartch also predicts that Robert Beal and Tatum Bethune will both be cut. Yeah. I agree with Beal. I don't agree with Bethune.
I agree with both. They just got, I mean, I could see why you don't think Bethune, because he could probably ascend to that linebacker spot, but you got a lot of linebackers. They signed some guys this offseason, right? They got some they got Nick Martin, right? D Winters. Fred Warner was talking up D Winters today. I don't know. I just feel like Tatum Bethune is going to be a guy they can cut, and it'll be okay because they can put him on the practice squad. I don't think he's a guy that they're going to worry about. Like, if they cut him, somebody's going to just snag him. I think they've kind of kept him under. Like last year, he didn't do much, right? He was a special teamer. So I feel like not a lot of teams are kind of like on the radar on him. So they'll kind of keep him a little under wraps. They won't talk him up much. He's a guy that'll get cut, but they'll bring him back on the practice squad. Robert Beal, he gone. He's definitely not coming back on practice. That guy's, his days are numbered.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Robert Beal. He's a talented athlete, but I mean, this is also why, there's concern about at least in my neck of the woods, about Mikael Williams, because we're talking about the same program and a guy who's almost the exact same size and speed. And this guy had some success, but I mean, he cannot do the job. He cannot get it done. I mean, the 49ers, I mean, it's now or never for Robert Beal, and they have a huge need. It's not like oh, well, they don't need him. No, they need him. They absolutely need. He's a 6'4", 260-pound defensive end who can run in the 4.4s. They absolutely need him, but he hasn't been able to, it's not a track meet. There's a lot of skill involved, and he hasn't been able to produce. I mean, nothing. Sacks, nothing, forced fumbles. He's a good special teamer. He's a very athletic special teamer. He's big and fast, and big, fast guys can really make an impact on special teams. But from scrimmage, we really haven't seen it. Not sure what to say about him.
Yeah, I agree.
The other prediction from Bartch is that Cory Kiner is going to make the 53-man roster. Now, that's a bold prediction. I mean, undrafted free agent running back Cory Kiner out of Cincinnati. I know Dieter's not a big fan of his. I think Kiner is something really special. And when I talk to Bobby T about him, I get the feeling that Bobby T thinks he's special. I mean, I don't know that Bobby T handpicked this guy. I would imagine he did, right? He's the running back coach.
Yeah.
But Cory Kiner is really exactly what you're looking for in a running back in a lot of ways. I mean, he's a tackle breaking, second effort, contact balance. The guy, I mean, what do you want with a running back? You want a running back who, if you hit him, he doesn't go to the ground. Yeah. And that's Cory Kiner. This guy, I think Cory Kiner is going to have a tremendous preseason. because he's going to bounce off tackles all preseason. I think people are going to fall in love with him. I think Eric is onto something here with Kiner.
He could be. And Jordan Mason was an undrafted guy that they kept on the roster a couple years back. Remember, he had a 0.1% or 1% chance to make the roster. He did it now, but the only difference is the 49ers have a lot of running backs. So it is a very bold prediction. If he kind of goes out there and really shines and is one of the preseason warriors, then yeah, he might play himself into it. So that's the key is, can he outperform, some of these other guys, not Garendo and CMC? Like, those two guys are locks to make this team, right? How many running backs are they going to keep on this roster? That's the key, right? Are they going to have 4 or 5? Like, I don't know, man. So that's going to be the key, is who's excelling, who's expendable to become a practice squad guy. And they got to really play that roster, right? Because sometimes you cut a guy, somebody else is going to, snag him up, and maybe you wanted to keep him on the practice squad, or maybe you wanted to keep him on the roster. So that's when it gets a little tricky at the end, because sometimes you have to have, an extra tight end, but this running back's probably so much better on your team, but it gets a little tricky. So I think Kiner can make the team if he shows out, but that's a little bold, Larry, because I don't know if he's going to be able to beat. They drafted a running back in the 3rd round, right? Or is it 4th round? Jauan Jennings.
Third.
Yeah.
No, fifth.
Round. Okay, yeah, I knew it was mid round. They drafted him. They also have Patrick Taylor. They got a lot of running backs on this roster, so Cory Kiner's got his work cut out for him. And again, there's already 2 guarantees on this roster, so you got no room for error. I like his potential, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to predict that he's going to make the roster. I think he's got a chance.
And it's a bold prediction. I mean, that is a bold prediction. He's saying he's going to make the 53-man roster.
Yeah.
So maybe he's projecting an injury. Maybe he thinks he's better than Jordan James. I will say this. I would love to hear who Eric has talked to, or if he's coming to that conclusion on his own. But I do love Cory Kiner. I really do. And I see special there. I definitely see special. When I say special, I'm not saying special speed or anything, but special contact balance. Yeah. Kind of reminds me, who he's got the same height as, and he's got the same kind of contact balance as? Emmitt Smith.
Oh, wow.
Emmitt Smith body. Emmitt Smith was the exact same dimensions. Wow. 5'9", 210. 5'9", 210. Not big guys, but 210 pounds is kind of a bigger guy. If you remember Emmitt ran with tremendous power, but he also had great contact balance.
Couldn't knock the best O-line in the league.
He had a great O-line.
Yeah.
And an awesome team around him.
Yeah.
But Cory Kiner, once upon a time, was in the state of Ohio, which is a football hotbed. He was Mr. Football his senior year in high school, and he was a 5-star, went to LSU, and only transferred to play at Cincinnati because his family, only his mom and dad were the only people that could go watch him play at LSU. He wanted to play in front of his family and friends. A bunch of friends in Cincinnati, so he went back home and played for the Bearcats. What I love about him, though, Raj, this guy, if you look at him, he's missed no games. All the guys ever done is show up on Saturday for whatever team he's played on and produce.
I love it. That's great.
Like, he never was like the backup guy who didn't do anything. This guy always produced. And then he went to Cincinnati and he produced even more. So I'm telling you, Bobby T doesn't talk anybody up. He will not talk guys up. But there's a level of respect that he showed Kiner that I thought was really interesting. All right, a couple last ones here. Give me your surprise player, because you watch stuff, I watch stuff, we all talk to people, and our opinion on all these guys evolves, right? There's new players, there's new schemes, guys get better, guys get worse, guys get older, guys get hurt, guys get healthy. It's football. There's, wide careers are short and everything's changing. The only thing that we know for sure is that everything's going to change. So give me a surprise player that you don't think anybody's talking about, that you think is beneath the radar, but we're going to be talking a lot about them this year.
Yeah, no, I think for sure. There's two guys off the bat that jump out to me. They're both safeties, Jason Pinnock and Richie Grant. I mean, they got such a golden opportunity right now, right? Jason Pinnock, probably going to be a starter. Richie Grant, probably going to be a starter. Mustafa's hurt, right? And then you got my boy Jair Brown. He's coming off an injury. So these guys have a very, very big opportunity. I'm thinking a lot of people kind of really cared about those signings a couple months ago when they signed him in the free agency. Special teams guy, maybe depth guys. I think they have a legit chance to be starters, and I think they might hold those positions down for a while. They're veterans. They know how to play in this league. I think they're coming in really with a chip on their shoulder because nobody's really talking about those guys. Everybody's Mustafa. When's Mustafa coming back? When's Mustafa coming back? He might not come back for a while, Larry. And Jair Brown, I mean, last year didn't look too good. He's coming off an injury. He's got a lot to prove. These two veterans, they're coming in healthy, chip on their shoulder, new team. They're veterans, man, that know how to play the game. So I think those two guys right there off the bat are going to surprise a lot of people. I really do.
Good ones. Good ones. I'm going to go, last year, I think teams really knew how to go against the Niners. They just, threw a lot of man coverage at them, and they just struggled with man coverage. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the kinds of receivers that could beat man coverage. But they added Demarcus Robinson, and he beats man coverage. And he scored 7 touchdowns last year. Nice. I mean, think about that. That would have been second on the Niners only to George Kittle. And this guy played on a team with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, and Kyron Williams. I mean, it wasn't like it was the Demarcus Robinson show. You know what I mean? It wasn't. And he scored 7 touchdowns.
That's pretty good.
Raj, when I watched Demarcus Robinson this week, just watching him against man coverage, watching him in the red zone against man coverage, I really think he is going to be the right guy at the right time. I like Demarcus Robinson to be a very big factor. He can beat man coverage. He knows how to free himself open both down the field, and he knows how to free himself open in these rub route situations at the goal line. He is a very underrated ad. I love your Pinnock pick, by the way. I think we're really talking. I think the Niners landed a couple of real sleeper free agents. I think Pinnock on defense is a great one, but I think Demarcus Robinson is going to be. I think Demarcus Robinson. I'll say it right now. I think Demarcus Robinson at the end of this season will have better numbers than all the other Niner receivers.
Oh, wow.
He'll have better numbers than JJ. He'll have better numbers than Pearsall. He'll have better numbers than Aiyuk. He'll have better numbers than Watkins, than Cowing. I think Demarcus Robinson will have the best numbers.
Demarcus Robinson, wide receiver 1. You heard it here from Larry. Oh, my God. Even missing 3 games, suspension?
Yeah, even with the 3 games, Demarcus Robinson, I think, is going to be because Purdy needs the receiver in the red zone that can get open, and this guy can do it. He didn't score 7 touchdowns because he's got a nice personality. You know what I mean? Crazy. This guy is a man beater, and I just really believe that Robinson's going to be huge. Oh, wow. The other one I'm going to go with is a deeper pull. The more I watch the 49ers this in the springtime, the more, it's like I really, really like Sebastian Valdez.
Oh, wow. That's a deep pull.
Sebastian Valdez.
Wow.
Okay. There's nothing not to like about this guy. This guy is 300 pounds. This guy goes about practice with he is as serious as a heart attack, man. This guy means business, and he's 300 pounds, but he's got some pass rush. You can't play him. You got to play him in a rotation, but Sebastian Valdez, that's the guy I'm looking for.
53, Larry?
Yeah, I do. So we'll see.
That's a deep pull.
That's a deep pull. Sebastian Valdez. But Demarcus Robinson, watch out. Number 1 Niner receiver this year,
Okay.
Sebastian Valdez, sleeper defensive player.
That's a huge sleeper pick. If he
That
makes
is a
53
sleeper.
roster, Larry, wow. I don't know.
All right, couple last ones. Noah Fant cut by Seattle. Should the Niners show interest in Noah Fant?
No.
Okay.
No fan. No, he's
Noah Fant.
no fan. No, I'm not a fan. They got enough. They got George Kittle. They got their blocking tight end this year. I mean, Noah Fant's probably better than Braden Willis, but at this point, I'm good. We don't need him.
Most teams that really get better because they've got a group of second and third year players that start to come of age. For the 49ers, they also have a group of second and third year players that I think potentially that can come of age. Third year guys, D. Winters, Jair Brown, Darrell Luter. Second year guys, Isaac Guerendo, Jacob Cowing, Mason Pline, Tanner Mordecai, Evan Anderson, Tatum Bethune.
Anderson.
Which second year player is likely to make the biggest leap forward this year? Or third year player. You can go with a third year player. You can go with one of those guys as well in the third year.
Okay, for second year players, it's Isaac Guerendo, man. I mean, you just have to think he's going to take a massive leap. You want Christian McCaffrey to make it through the season. How many times have we talked about it this offseason? Give Guerendo some damn carries. Let him be that fourth quarter guy. I'll give him some passes out the backfield. I think he's going to take a huge leap. I think he's going to be that. He's got the speed. We know his talent. I think Isaac Guerendo takes a big leap this year. And then on third year, if we're going to talk about third year player, I really, really like D. Winters. And I mean, Fred Warner's talking about, if this guy can stay healthy, he's a dog, man. I really think he's a great linebacker. So I think he's the guy. He's destined. This has to be a make or break year for D. Winters. It took, if you remember Aziz Al-Shahir, it took a couple years to kind of get that full, whole body of work going. It took him a couple years because I remember him. He was like fighting practice squad. He had the ACL in college. He kind of came up, and you saw glimpses. I seen glimpses with D. Winters, and I think this is the year he puts it together. I like Evan Anderson too for second year. I'm excited. That's an underrated guy. That if we're going back to that last question, that I wish I would have said, because Evan Anderson, he could be a good rotational defensive lineman. I like that guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Guerendo's the right answer, right? I think Guerendo is the guy that when you're watching him, when you're watching practice, he stands out. He stands out. If you didn't know who the players were, you would notice Guerendo. But Cowing is also standing out, and there's something really exciting about Jacob Cowing because he, unlike Guerendo, who was just kind of a size speed guy who never really produced, Cowing consistently produced both at UTEP and Arizona. And I'm talking about really produced. So I think Cowing is going to be someone to watch for sure. I also think Mason Pline is going to be good. I'm a Mason Pline guy, and I also really believe in Darrell Luter. It is a huge. If Darrell Luter could fulfill the potential that he has shown, that could be one of the greatest things for the Niners this summer. Because look what he is. He's a big, tall, rangy, physically dominating corner. If they can coach him up and get him out there, get him healthy, I think Luter's got a lot of potential. I mean, all he did was play press man at South Alabama, and a lot of guys struggle to play press man. So I'm hoping on Luter maybe a little bit, but I really feel good about Guerendo, Cowing, and Pline.
Yeah, you love Luter, but he's got to stay healthy. Like he has you can see it in him. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of Niner, like when I talk to Demo about him, he'd be like, man, this guy's got so much talent. Demo knows. Equanimeous St. Brown. You have a thought on Equanimeous? Amon-Ra's older brother.
He won't make the 53-man rosters. He'll be a great 90-man camp body guy. And then when the season starts, he'll go on the podcast with his brother, and he'll talk about some stories with the 49ers. That's what he'll do.
Biggest concern, it's funny too, because Shanahan did a whole thing with Kawakami, and he was talking about the offensive line, and he's like, I like our offensive line. And then by the end of the article, he's like, we have a solid offensive line. It's like, it sounds like, it's like you're losing confidence as you're talking about it. But biggest Niner concern, and here are the ones that I saw listed, okay? Biggest Niner concern. That Demo Lenore is the only proven corner. That safety is a wide open position. That Fred Warner is the only proven linebacker. That the D line could be made up of 3/4 rookies. That the O line may be a little deeper, but there's still questions at left guard. Is it going to be Ben Bartch? It sounds like if it's not Ben Bartch, it sounds like it's going to be Nick Sakel. As I said, Shanahan says we have a solid O line. CMC's health, wide receiver depth, tight end depth behind George Kittle. Do the Niners have a kicker? Are they still the worst special teams unit in the NFL? What's the biggest, and maybe I didn't include one that is your biggest concern. So what is your biggest concern?
Man. Circle them all. Those are all, they're all pretty equally, but I will say,
what's the primary?
I think they've improved the special teams. So I'm not worried as much this year, but
I'm not either.
I think the biggest concern to me is going to be the O-line. I'm 100% worried about the O-line. I just don't think they have a solid O-line. I don't think they've improved that. To me, they got a lot of guys, but I don't know if they're any good. You know what I mean? And they got the same starters. If Trent Williams gets hurt, it's scary. It's like scary business. They paid Brock this money. Are you going to be able to protect them? Not sold on, Colton McKivitz. Maybe he'll get a little better. I know the analytics say he's great, but you see the film and you're like, well, what's going on here? And then center position, Jake Brendel. I mean, he's a journeyman. And then after O-line, I know a lot of people are worried about secondary. It's really up to Renardo Green. That's one of those second-year guys that I didn't mention yet. But if he's great, so the secondary is going to be good. But again, that also goes hand in hand with this young defensive line that we talked about. So those are probably the three primary ones. But the major one to me is that O-line, man. I mean, a little worried. And then, can CMC, is he going to stay healthy? If not, Isaac Grendo, get you.
I guess my big thing is still pass rush. I mean, it's like I just kind of wonder, can they mount a pass rush? Can they mount a pass rush? I'll say this: the one thing I didn't like this week is ESPN ranked the Niner defensive tackles dead last. I think that's erroneous. I mean,
they're unproven.
They're unproven, but I mean, dead last. I mean that there's got to be some team that has worse defensive tackles than C.J. West, Alfred Collins, and what the Niners have up front, but. Pass rush. To me, it's about pass rush. Can you mount a pass rush? Even especially now, no Hargrave, no real proven interior rushers. The tackles that you and I like, guys like West and Collins potentially, and Evan Anderson. None of those guys necessarily are great pass rushers.
Yeah.
So, to me, if I could add one thing, it would be I would try to add another pass rusher. All right. Key dates. October 26th, or I should say August 26th, is the cut down. That's when the roster gets pared down to 53. The practice squad will be set on September the 3rd. The first preseason game is August the 9th. And the week 1, Niners and Seahawks at Lumen Field, September the 7th. Those are the key dates. Let's hit 4 supers and we'll bolt for the door. Steven Reynolds, who is second and third string behind Bartch for left guard? Nick Sakel. And then after that, probably either Burford or Drew Moss or Connor Colby. I'll say this: I really like Connor Colby. I don't know about his strength. I don't know about him as a pass protector, but I really like him as a run blocker. And I'm eager to see if they can coach him up enough, because I think he's a dominating run blocker. And that's what you want in your right guard. So I'd root for Colby, but I've heard great things about Moss. And, don't forget Pleasance is a big, strong guy who's playing tackle, but he could potentially be a guard. You have Burford, who they're trying to play at tackle, but he could go back to guard. So, but Nick Sakel, the short answer is Nick Sakel's the second string for Bartch.
Yikes. I mean, he's been on the team for a while, so.
And I'll say this about Nick Sakel. He's smart and he's tough. As far as how athletic he is, can he move? I don't know, but he's, guy went to Fordham and he's pretty smart. So he's pretty smart and he's a tough guy. And he's big, right? He's 6'6", 310, 320. He's a big guy. He's not a smaller stature player. Yeah. Claudaddy, Vending 896, Claudaddy Arcade's one of the sponsors of the Krueg Show, says, like and subscribe. Went down the rabbit hole of Pinnock tape. Dude loves contact and is a pest in the backfield. Excited to hear your guys reporting from training camp. I'll say this about Pinnock. Kev had some numbers on X about his pass rush. I don't know if you saw the numbers.
Yeah, I saw
he
that
was the best pass rushing safety in football. Better than Hamilton from the Ravens.
Wow.
Better than Derwin James.
Is he like the new Blitz boy?
Well, you know what it is that 2 years ago, playing for Wink Martindale, who's a great blitzer, used this guy and really showed him how to blitz. And I think from that point on, he's become a better blitzer. But I think he wanted to play for Robert Saleh because he had played in 4 different schemes in 4 years in a row, and I think he wanted some continuity. So he's switching full-time from college corner to safety, so he didn't want to have to switch to another defense. So I think he's going to be good in this defense, but I also think he's going to be really good as a delayed blitzer and as a pass rusher because that's what he does.
He sounds versatile to me. He sounds like he's going to be used like they used Jimmy Ward. They used him in like so many different variations. They threw him safety, nickel, every day. They just said, hey, we need you to line up here. Okay, I'll do it because he's a very versatile guy. So I like that. I like that.
Athletic enough to play corner and tough enough to play linebacker. That's what Jimmy Ward was. That's what this guy is.
Yeah.
Jimmy Ward, I think, is a little bit bigger hitter, a little bit more substantial hitter, but this guy's a little bit better cover guy. MSQ says, not Niners related, but thoughts on the Giants win tonight and thoughts on the move of Devers and Ramos to first base and DH. Is this the move going forward? Well, I mean, you just got to, Ramos is just struggling so badly defensively right now. And I don't know if it's no reps, if he's not working at it, if he's losing confidence. He's just made so many mistakes out in left field. And now it's starting to affect Jung-Hoo Lee, and their communication was horrible on the fly ball yesterday. So, but yeah, Devers wanted to play first, and they want him out there, and he should play first. His position is first with the Giants. They have Eldridge coming. He's going to be the DH. Devers has got to play first, and the Giants got a bunch of runs, and they won big tonight. We'll see. We'll see if they're in it or not. Dominic Sena, pause, Mr. Krueger, and no Diddy. LOL. Not sure about that. Clarence Beeks, member for 37 months. Brock Purdy is so cute, according to Clarence Beeks. All right. Clarence, really? You're paying money for that? For Brock Purdy?
Brock Purdy's cute. He paid you to say that. Don't hate on him.
SRS says, great show, guys. I'm out. Later. This guy's like Mitchell Ness. Tomorrow the Giants will struggle to score 2 runs. Yeah, exactly. All right, Raj, good stuff, man. Tomorrow training camp, I will be there because of Giants baseball on the radio in Atlanta. We'll be preempted, so I'll get a chance. I'm filling in this week on KMBR, but I will be at training camp. I'll be at practice tomorrow. We'll report back. We'll do videos. Full breakdown tomorrow from practice. Look for that tomorrow on the Krueg Show.
Deal. Can't wait. I'll say what's up to you, Larry. Hope I see you there.
Are you there tomorrow? No, Friday.
Yeah.
Is tomorrow open?
Open practice, baby.
Nice.
You're there. I'm there. I get to meet the great Larry Krueger. Give you a little handshake. See those guns.
Yeah, seriously. I promise I won't hurt anybody. But yeah, I have been lifting, and I'm kind of a menace. 55 years old. I'm not Kyle Shanahan, beating the jam at the line of scrimmage, but I'll be all right. I can take care of myself. I'm not Shanahan off the line, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krueg Show. Thanks to Claw Daddy Arcades for being a sponsor of tonight's show. They're a great follow on Instagram at Claw_Daddy_Arcades to find a location. They get brand new locations in Capitola Mall and Visalia Mall opening later on this summer. And of course, Pig and a Pickle, check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week. And also thanks to our good friends at Sharp Corners Sports Cards and Collectibles. Anthony Catania will be at practice on Friday. He's at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California. And you can call him up at 831-521-5264. He's a great follow on IG at Sharp Corners 831 on the gram. Raj, enough talk, enough minicamp, draft season. We actually have pads clicking, helmets on, actual football practice to watch tomorrow.
We're here. We are so back. We back finally. All that drama, all that nonsense. Guess what? Finally got some football tomorrow. I'm excited. It smells like football. I can't wait to wake up. It's like the first day of school all over again. I got my outfit picked up.
It's like Mike Nolan. It's like Mike Nolan said, I like the smell in the building.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful.